Magnolia State Family Medicine, Health Center and Medical Spa, 1009B City Avenue North, Ripley, 587-8176. Call for your appointment. Providing modern medicine with Southern hospitality. That's Magnolia State Family Medicine, 100% veteran-owned and operated. Bethel University Physician Assistant Program affiliated. Magnolia State Family Medicine. Dr. Christopher J. M. Cummins, Medical Doctor. Fast, hot, and fresh. Open 24 hours just for you. Dodge's Store. Come be our guest. Dodge's Store, Ripley. We are 100% employee-owned with friendly service and a fun atmosphere. High quality, low prices. We are Food Giant. Our deli serving breakfast, lunch, supper. Food Giant, 702 Highway 15 North, Ripley. Come shop Food Giant. Want fresh meat and fresh produce? Food Giant's the place. High quality, low prices. Food Giant. Now, welcome to Ask Dr. Cummins. Please call 587-8176. Ask Dr. Cummins.
Good evening, Lee Allen Pilgrim, along with Dr. Christopher Cummins. How you doing, Doc?
Doing good, Lee Allen. How are you today?
Doing fine. When I say Christopher, is that correct?
You got it, man.
Okay, I got a grandson named Christopher. Everybody calls him Chris, and I call him brother. That doesn't pertain to anything.
Ask about anything, especially come and get
it. Yeah, all right. Anything? It's a beautiful day. We got had some real pretty weather, and that probably slows business down a little bit. I don't know.
You got some people out there getting the gardens going, and I'm all happy for them doing it.
Yes, sir. You got anything you want to talk about? Announcements or anything to make before we get into the questions?
Do want to remind people we are open on those Saturdays, and space actually fills up pretty quick on Saturdays.
I was fixing to ask, how's that going?
It's going real well.
I've heard some comments. I've heard some from several different sections, coffee shops and restaurants I've been in. They said that they really appreciated being able to go to a doctor instead of an emergency room situation on the weekends.
It's been, and I thought we would only be doing it for emergencies and those type things. However, what we've seen, we're certainly filling that role, but just and I'm so proud to say this, but our working class folks who cannot get off work.
Right. They're not going to take off work. They can't afford
because
to miss
they're dedicated to the job, dedicated to the family, doing all that kind of stuff, honoring their commitments. We're actually seeing a great majority of those people, and that just makes me just feel good. And I'm pleased that was a surprise and a wonderful benefit of what we're doing.
Well, I think it is, and it'll save that. It'll take the load off the emergency room, plus you don't charge $1,000 to walk through the door. So,
That's right. And the only other thing we got going on is some of y'all may know out there that I am a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and we have a post here. We're named after Terry Lee Blythe, a Vietnam soldier from this area who lost his life in Vietnam. But we're going to have a special meeting the last Tuesday of the month of April at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be a special election. And any of y'all we have probably about 40 to 50 members of the VFW in Ripley of our post. If you could tell them, or if you're watching, share with other people to come to that special meeting. It's going to be very important about the life of our post, and would love to have y'all there. And I guess I should mention that we do have a ladies' auxiliary. We have a potential men's auxiliary for people that are not qualified to be full members. We'd love to have you. We need support from the community.
Well, that's a good group, good organization.
But I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's World War II, anything like that, Desert Storm, just anything like that.
Anybody that has a overseas campaign ribbon
that set foot on foreign soil.
Correct. In time of war, you're eligible.
Well, that's a good thing. Okay, Doc, you ready to get in?
I'm ready.
First of all, you see the number on the screen there, 587-8176. We're getting a great response on that. So please remember that. Call that number when you have a question, and we'll get it straight to the doc. I mark these things with stars on people that just got to know. So I got one marked with a star. Today, Doc, let me tell you, let me read the question to you, and then you can give us an answer. What is the difference between a pacemaker and a defibrillator? Or am I pronouncing that right? Defibrillator? Okay.
Used to, you would often either get a pacemaker or a defibrillator put in, or sometimes a machine that is actually both. If I'm not mistaken now, most time when they put one in, it is a pacer defibrillator. So that way they don't have to go back and change anything. However, a pacemaker, we're talking about things that affect a machine for the heart. A pacemaker kind of does what it says. It paces the heart to keep it at a good, healthy rate. So if your heart is not beating the way it should, it kind of sends electronic pulses to make it fire or beat or pump when it should. Now, a defibrillator is when your heart has a potential for going to a really abnormal rhythm, okay? Atrial fibrillation, hence defibrillator. If your heart were to go into atrial fibrillation, this thing would send out some electricity, but it's like a powerful jolt of electricity, not just a little pulse, like to make it pace right. It's like hitting it with lots of power, big time. I mean, if you were to go off and you didn't need it, it would hurt, But by the time it does go off when it's supposed to, you're hurting. So I mean, you need it to happen, and that will hopefully restore that heartbeat to a normal rhythm. The heart can have a lot of different types of rhythms. There's some rhythms that are abnormal, and it means you're sick, and there's some that are abnormal or different from the baseline or the general normal. They can be actually indicate good health or some minor things that they're not pathologic or not disease causing. Don't need extra treatment for. Okay, heart rate, for example. Athletes tend to have a lower resting heart rate than non-athletes. But if you were not an athlete and you came to see me with a heart rate of 40 or 50, I would be concerned. But if you're a 18-year-old Army recruit in your peak of health,
right,
you got a low heart rate, that actually means you're in good shape. So those kind of things. But that's the big pacer, paces the heart, keeps it just kind of going, making it pulse when it needs to. But that defibrillator comes in with a lot of force and tries to restore a bad rhythm quickly.
Knock the heart back to normal.
It's the equivalent almost of us putting those paddles on the outside doing external defibrillation.
Right.
That's an internal defibrillator, and that's when it makes the body. You've got it.
Okay. Well, that. I understood that. There's nothing. And it was a lady that asked that. I guess her husband's got it. So I guess she has one or the other, and she wanted to know what the difference was.
A lot of people get that pacemaker put in, like with congestive heart failure or something. Man, it turns their life around.
Mm. So it's a good thing.
It can be.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. This woman, she does a hot wax spa to help her arthritic hands. She takes pills. She wants to get off of the pills, so she's doing the hot wax spa. And she's asking how often should you do this? Do you do it when it hurts? Do you do it on a regular basis? Have you heard of doing a hot wax spa? There it is.
I've heard hot wax for a lot of different things. I've not heard it for arthritis, but moist heat, I'm sure it feels good. I don't, other than making you feel good and maybe delaying some discomfort from your arthritis, I'm not sure that it would do anything long term as far as treating it, other than just that right there, that comfort for that. It's kind of like putting a heating pad on your back or something. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If it makes you feel good, I'm all for it. And I do believe the best drug is no drug. But what I would look at in addition to those things are exercise, good nutrition. If you smoke, don't smoke. Um, Basic things like that. But then in addition, I would look at natural medicines as far as like glucosamine, chondroitin. I know we carry a supplement called 3-in-1 that's got a lot of different things for your joints that can actually promote healing, stop inflammation, and things like that. All those things would be good. And of course, if you don't have to take a pill, don't take it. But supplements, nutrition, and exercise, and a periodic hot wax. That kind of just makes me more relaxed just thinking about just laying in that. But sounds good.
Okay.
I don't think it'll harm you.
I hope that answers the question. Here's a lady that is experiencing hot flashes due to menopause. Okay? She's ill and cranky. So this must have been a daughter or somebody calling in on her mama. She's ill and cranky. She cannot sleep for sweating the pillow wet at night. Is there any help, and how long does this stuff last? Her family is losing patience. So that's why I figured it might have been a daughter or a son.
I mean, believe it or not, that happens a lot. And I can't sympathize because I'm not a lady, but I can empathize with people that feel the wrath of those folks. And I can only imagine how you feel when you're going through that. There are a lot of different measures that can be done, ranging from supplements all the way to some pretty high or fancy type medicines to be used. It just depends on how severe it is. But now a little rest and a little anti-inflammatories can go a long way. But if that thing is persistent it sounds like it has for quite some time.
That's making people. It sounds like their family's getting annoyed with it.
You should talk to your doctor about this, because even though you may think it is what we call menopause or going through the change, there could be other things that are causing this as well that may be real easy to treat. And there's a lot of things that can make you have those signs and symptoms. But and also just the simple things, making sure you're getting enough rest. That certainly will help. But if this is going on, you need to talk to your doctor about it. And there's a lot of opportunities for treatment and things that we can do to help.
Things that you can do to help. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Now here's a question that, just let me read it. I'm a 62-year-old woman, and I need to have a total knee replacement surgery. Will I have better results if I get a gender-specific prosthesis? Now, I did a little research on that. Gender-specific means they make them for a man and they make them for a woman. Okay. And it seems to me the 62, I talked to her about it. I called her back and asked her, I said, are you saying that you might rather have, when you say gender-specific, you're talking male or female, are you saying that you think you would be better off having a male prosthesis as opposed to a female? That's how she asked it.
Yeah, let me tell you what, that's new for me.
I Googled it. I Googled it and said, I Googled gender specific. Now, I'm not the doctor and I'm not trying to ask the question, but I Googled it and I said gender specific prostheses, and it came up that they have two different kinds. They've got a general, which they usually use for females, and they've got a male, and this woman was, I guess, she's getting ready to do it and she's asking questions.
Okay. Well, I'm glad she's asking questions. That's one thing we tell everybody that comes to see us. Don't leave until you have your questions answered. Don't be intimidated wherever you're at or think your question's silly. Ask the questions.
Not with Google around. You
right.
Google.
Yeah. It's your body. You've got to ask these questions, But giving me some time to think about that.
Okay, well, we can come back to that.
Gender specific sounds like what they're doing is maybe for some athletes and stuff, they probably have probably more expensive, but probably more durable, take a lot more of abuse type prostheses out there. The general one's probably fine if you're not a cross country runner or an Olympic athlete and all this kind of stuff. They'll probably do you fine. But we're in the age of where we can get really specific with treatments, and specialized, and that's probably what they're doing.
You could probably use your pacemaker defibrillator explanation. Pacemakers just for the non-sportsman, just moving right along there, but the gender specific male is the heavy duty shock. You know, I don't know.
You could imagine that the one they're calling the male is, and it may be even a more lighter weight metal, but more expensive, because if you're a runner, you don't want extra weight.
Right.
You want as close to physiologic or your regular body anatomy as possible. Keep you in balance when you're running and all that kind of stuff. So I would, the average person, and that is a big statement, because who's average? But
yeah.
but
What's average?
Average non-athlete probably will be fine with a general prosthesis. And I've got an acquaintance who's an orthopedic surgeon locally in the immediate area. I'm gonna have to run that by him. He just came by the clinic yesterday, and I'm gonna have to ask him and see what he thinks.
Maybe that's relating to, I don't know. Maybe that's relating to sports medicine.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I'm gonna check it out.
Gender specific prostheses. I guess I'm pronouncing that correct. Yeah. Okay, Tony, I think we'll take a break. We'll be right back after we hear from our sponsors.
Magnolia State Family Medicine, Health Center and Medical Spa, 1009B City Avenue North, Ripley, 587-8176. Call for your appointment. Providing modern medicine with Southern hospitality. That's Magnolia State Family Medicine, 100% veteran-owned and operated. Bethel University Physician Assistant Program affiliated. Magnolia State Family Medicine. Dr. Christopher J. M. Cummins, Medical Doctor. Fast, hot, and fresh. Open 24 hours just for you. Dodge's Store. Come be our guest. Dodge's Store, Ripley. We are 100% employee owned with friendly service and a fun atmosphere. High quality, low prices. We are Food Giant. Our deli serving breakfast, lunch, supper. Food Giant, 702 Highway 15 North, Ripley. Come shop Food Giant. Want fresh meat and fresh produce? Food Giant's the place. High quality, low prices, Food Giant. Now welcome to Ask Dr. Cummins. Please call 587-8176. Ask Dr. Cummins.
All right, we're back, and once again, we'd like to ask you that the number is 587-8176. Please give that number a call for your questions, and Dr. Cummins will be happy to field it for you and give you an answer. Okay, Doc, let's jump right back into the stream. Is gout an old man's disease?
Well, not just for old men, but the reason a lot of people have that in their mind is it used to be the disease of the aristocracy of the rich and the wealthy and kings and things like that, because they were the ones that got the good meat, good red meat, all the fine cheese, and all the good wine. And but now in our more equitable age, I guess you could say, everybody's got some access to those things.
The worms turn. Huh?
And we can all get gout. And there's really a couple different kinds of gout. One we typically call gout. The other one's called pseudo gout. And but basically it's those joints. Your big toe is common, but it can hit a lot of other joints. But it's got to do with some deficiencies of not being able to break down certain amino acid products in your body. And if you can't break them down in your kidneys or your liver, or you can't pee or poop them out, they're going to go somewhere. And they end up in the joints. And if they get out of whack and get too high, too many in the joints, you're going to have problems. And you're going to have pain.
Painful problems.
Yes. I mean, it gets where, a sheet on the big toe hurts if it's just sitting on top of it, and
well, how do you know that you've got that?
You
I mean,
probably learn by when you eat
pain.
certain foods. Here it comes. Not too far behind it. Okay.
The pain
Right.
in the joints.
Yep. It'll be hot and red, irritated, and the main thing we have to, from a doctor's perspective, is we got to make sure that you don't have a real infection, because it can kind of masquerade as that.
Right.
So we have to make that. Now, the only real definitive way you're going to do it is either with some specialized blood tests that we can do now, or you aspirate that joint and pull that fluid out and send it to the lab.
Right.
But now you can pretty much, there's some certain panels, some certain tests that we can do, and it give you a real good idea if it's gout or not.
Okay.
And if you respond to particular treatment for gout, we know that it will, you have a good idea, kind of rule out other things. Good thing is, there's a lot of treatment for it, and it's well established treatment, very successful, and it's kind of like with everything. The sooner as you start experiencing that, the sooner you see your doctor, it's a lot easier to cure it. And say cure that episode. You can have flare-ups later on, but you get a grip on it, the faster. As soon as it comes on, get started on treatment.
Okay. That so it's not necessarily limited to the old meal.
No.
That's
an
all
equal opportunity.
I've been
disease.
fortunate so far. I don't have it, and I'm an old man, so I'm glad to know it can go on down.
That's right.
Here's this is kind of a technical, but I'll go ahead and ask you. This guy's got arthritis. It says, I prefer ibuprofen over acetaminophen for my arthritis pain relief. But now my doctor suggests I take a narcotic pain reliever. Is this safe?
I'll first start with some studies that suggest that acetaminophen or Tylenol is supposed to be as good or better than using non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen, like Mobic, if you hear people talk about that, like aspirin, naproxen, naproxen, Aleve. All those are non-steroidal anti-inflammatories.
And medicine you can buy over the counter.
Right, in most instances, at certain doses. And
well, I assume this guy or woman. I didn't.
But some people they can take. It's okay either way. Some people though do find that non-steroidal anti-inflammatories work better than Tylenol. We know that Tylenol is probably safer long-term use. Okay, and they get nervous about you using too many non-steroidals like ibuprofen because of what it can do to the stomach and create ulcers and things like that. Then you get into you're not able to control your pain with the ibuprofen, and you're considering some other medicine.
Well, I think that's probably the situation
Yeah.
here. Whatever,
And,
the ibuprofen's probably.
It must not be holding it.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you, the patient would be, how bad does it hurt? You know, how severe is the pain?
From
how
0
much,
to 10 on the scale.
and how much can you tolerate, and how much of an improvement do you want? Do you want to go from a 10 to 0, or 10 to 5? What's acceptable to you? What's going to make you feel better? 10 to 0 is probably not ever going to happen,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Unless short of a miracle. But narcotics, it also to me would depend upon your age and what type of narcotic we would use. An 18-year-old, I would not want to start on a lifetime of narcotics at that age, because it's only going to take more of it and more frequent use of it, and it's going to end up changing their life where they probably won't be contributing very much to society. That's not always the case, but it happens a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people have been touched by their family members or somebody they know that has had an abuse problem of narcotics. So we don't want to use that. So it's a very judicious use, very selective use of this medicines, of those type medicines. Sometimes though, you may need that, and you just have to talk to your doctor, and your doctor, if it's a primary care doctor like myself, may want you to go to a chronic pain specialist, because
Pain clinic.
Correct. And a lot of times it's not that your doctor is trying to push you off or dump you. We want to do everything we can to take care of you. But we know now, with so many changes in medicine and so many rules changing about chronic pain treatment and so much many more things becoming available, it's just hard for us to have be able to do that to the best of our ability, because it's just changing so much. That's why you now have pain doctors who do these things, and they will do should do what's in your best interest.
Okay.
We probably could talk a long time about it.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't belabor it too much.
No, that answered.
But you need to talk to your doctor, and you need to really let them know what your concerns are, and y'all can get through it together.
Okay, and then here's one that's let's see. Oh, dagnabbit, I had it right here. And this is one that I'll say this one could be controversial. I'm going to hit you with it. What is your opinion about putting elementary age children on Ritalin?
Yeah, it certainly is and can be controversial. Ritalin, for those of you
is it Ritalin or Ritalin?
I guess it probably depends on what side of the Mason-Dixon you're from. But
well, I'm from the South.
Yeah, me too. And Ritalin is what we commonly call it around here. And for those of y'all that don't know, it's a medication that is for the diagnosis, or indicated for the diagnosis of a child or an adult with attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, commonly ADHD, or attention deficit disorder, ADD, and then there's adult attention deficit disorder. Now, there's a lot of debate. Up until the 1960s, 70s, there was not a whole lot of psychiatric diagnosis. But then the diagnostic manual came out, and it's been revised 4 or 5 times now, and it changes according to the social slant of the general population, I guess, or whoever's in academia that controls that kind of stuff. So it used to not be there, now it's there. Certainly, I feel that it is a diagnosis, or all those are different diagnoses. And if a patient is not able to respond to some other forms of treatment, that medication may need to be used. But now the thing about Ritalin, though, is that, it works, it's a stimulant. So a stimulant is, for those that know, like amphetamines. I mean, we give those things to pilots. Yeah, we give them to pilots when they're flying in combat.
Speed.
Yeah.
Those are my terms when I was growing up. Uppers and speed.
And those things work on certain parts of the brain, just like cocaine does, just like caffeine.
Yeah.
Caffeine's a drug, and so the thing about those kind of drugs with children is we know that the brain is basically always in a state of development, but particularly until a person is around their mid-20s, a lot of brain development is going on. And when we use the term brain development, we're talking about brain connections being formed, forming memory, forming just different kind of things. Some of those medicines can disrupt those things, we think. So it needs to be used judiciously.
Very judiciously.
Very judiciously. And like I've stated before, is that I've been here 4 years, I've never prescribed it. I have refilled it on some patients who see psychiatrists and psychologists who already carry that diagnosis. I know teachers care about their students. However, they're not clinicians, and I know some of them feel like they can diagnose those things, but those things need to be done with a clinician, with a doctor, with parents and teachers, everybody working together, because the main thing is taking care of the children.
Well, all right, Doc, time goes by when you're having when you're having fun, and we've run out of time tonight. We'll be back next Thursday night at 6:30, 587-8176. Doc, we appreciate you coming in.
Sir.
Y'all come back to see us next week. We'll be here Thursday night at 6:30. Good night.